Hello, mech fans. This is Duncan Fisher. Hold on firmly to your mana potions, fireballs, and familiars, because you are tuning in to your regularly scheduled episode of the First Circuit Podcast.
Welcome to the First Circuit Podcast, episode 144. Hosting tonight is Ian.
Hello.
Biter.
Hello.
And myself, Oldbot10025. Tonight, our patch notes, how to get your free MadCat 2, North American servers are updated, and community feature, HPG of BullDogs.
Thankfully, the two of you had already took all the effort to go through most of these, so we're just going to skip to the things that are
We didn't talk about.
not necessarily new, but at least fresh for you guys. So first up, Striker Booster Pack is going to be released with the April patch. As I recall, we have talked about the Striker Booster Pack a fair bit in the past. Only thing that's kind of new, at least to me, were the quirks. Have you guys discussed the quirks?
No, I
last
didn't
week?
discuss the
No,
quirks 'cause
no,
it came out.
the quirks only came out with the patch notes.
All right, so for quirks, the Thunderbolt is going to get some PPC, heat generation, missile cooldown, heat velocity, and some basic armor and structure quirks. Focused on the armor on the torso and structure and everything else. Interesting.
Yeah. The only thing kind of sucks, though, is like it has like a 15% missile cooldown, but it only has one missile hard point, so like
That's
I mean,
why
that's
you
how
put
yeah, I know,
PGI
that's why they
has
have it so
always
high.
been doing it.
Yeah, true. Still sucks.
Yeah, it will be one of the more heavily armored Thunderbolts. It's not the top dog.
No.
The top dog is sort of paid to win on the Thunderbolts for winning on a Thunderbolt is concerned. Yeah, nothing too exceptional. Like I would give particular love to the left torso, since that one is just where so much of your equipment has to go. But yeah, this is fine enough. I feel like the right arm, which is your only right-sided weapons, is giving it structure, is gonna leave if your arm if I mean people usually aren't shooting off the arms and thunderbolts anyway, but you're usually happier when the ammo in your legs are protected by armor and the weapons in your right arm are protected by armor as well.
Hmm.
So less valuable survival on the limbs means your MRM ammo is more likely to blow up on you. I mean, there'll be new case in this patch, but still, that's spending slots on a mech that has low arm actuators, upper arm actuators, and hand actuators. Like Thunderbolts have an issue of slots, and you're going to be spending slots on your ECM and your mask and your jump jets and case if you really want to protect those leggies. Though people aren't legging Thunderbolts anyway, but still, quirks very all over the place. Whatever. It's a Thunderbolt. It's generic Thunderbolt quirks.
How about the dragon?
All right.
Right, and moving on to the dragon. Missile cooldown, same thing. General cooldown, 10%, 10% heat, 20% velocity, and a significantly higher amount of armor and structure quirks all around. Yeah, I feel like the dragon definitely needed the extra help.
Do you know if the
Yeah.
are the weapon hard points are on the arms or what? Like are they?
We've seen the hard points on the striker pack, so it's one energy
okay,
hard point
okay.
in each side torso and one in each arm.
Where the missiles?
Yep.
Two in
And
the
then two
CT.
missiles and a torso.
Okay, the torso. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's 25% missile cooldown on the CT missiles, but there's so little you can actually sort of do with those.
Yeah.
And it's then you're also talking the majority of builds should build into the 4 energy, and for that you have just a generic 10% cooldown, 10% heat, and I guess 20% velocity if you're using something like PPCs.
True.
Decent armor quirks though. Could you guys see this mech perform as a, I guess, SRM 8 with some medium laser brawler? Or not at all?
You could do like 3 snub nose, maybe some SRMs, but I'd just say 3 snub nose, get close to the enemy, kapow, good cooldown and heat gen would hopefully be able to keep 3 snub. And 3 snub, 2 of them are high mounted on the torsos, and 1 you can put on the right arm, and you can use the left torso as a shield. So with this patch, with all the energy changes, there's some interesting builds you could do, much more with the 4 energy hard points. Yeah, this is kind of like a lot of the other dragons, though. Big note is just at least the 10% heat gen, which has always been sort of the issue for those dragons. They get plenty of cooldown, but they don't usually get the ability to actually manage that heat.
Hmm.
Like the Dragon 1C has 4 energy hard points, and they're oriented on the left side of the mech, which gives it a really good side peek. But the problem was always if you took like 3 large pulse lasers, you often were kind of cooking yourself, even though you haven't got really the best firepower in the world. Like you have to keep shooting the enemy, and when you do find that position where you can keep poking with LPLs, you get hot. Whereas, yeah, this dragon finally has some heat generation to counteract the cooldown, because cooldown just means you have more heat at the end of the day.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, these generic cooldown quirks, for the most part, are what you sort of wanted for a long time with a lot of the mechs. That in the past they always quirked like mechs individual weapon groups for for some reason, and then they came up with a generic quirk. So instead of just 10% energy, 10% missile, 10% ballistic, just give it 10% general cooldown, and that's the same blooming thing, and it saves you a lot of reading individual lines.
True.
So now that we know the quirks, do you guys think our verdict about these mechs is going to change, or is it just going to stand?
I think it's mostly going to stand. Um, yeah, I'm glad at least they have getting some survival, though. Yeah, you could power creep the Thunderbolt, for example, and it doesn't matter because the Thunderbolt is in such need of love of quirks. But even with the quirks it has got, it hasn't really got very strong ones for its energy loadout. So
No,
just
no.
5% heat gen. You can rapid fire an MRM40 a bit faster, but that's not a build for a 65 tonner. Yeah, so they're both quite underwhelming. I kind of like dragons personally, but that's just because I like underperforming mechs, making them useful. And the Grand Dragon is a bit more interesting than the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt's just a more slot hungry Thanatos mostly.
Mm-hmm.
So I just take a Thanatos. I mean, I don't have Mask, but both of them are giant targets. The Mask just helps you get from A to B.
Yeah. I can agree with you. I'm gonna pick up both of them for C-builds. I'm not gonna bother buying the pack. Also, I have spent enough on Mechwarrior, and I probably don't need to buy another pack for PGI to
Yeah.
make a profit of me. But yeah, I think the Grand Dragon is something I'm gonna enjoy at least a fair bit and play a bit. I don't think the Thunderbolt is gonna stick out too long in my stable. But hey, more options for you to pick up if you're interested in either
So
of these.
to round up just the last couple of things that might not always come right to mind with these is we still don't know the base agility or agility type stats for these. I assume they're going to have the same agility as the other mechs, but like it's just same with the Grand Dragon. It should have more torso twist, or at least it would be nice to try and have a nod towards the Grand Dragons having better builds. A reason why they're called a Grand Dragon is that they start improving the manufacturing for dragons, so you could have more torso twist for it. But as it is, they've only given us the quirks. They haven't given us the base agility stats. So how are you supposed to find out before the expiry window for this thing? Who knows? I guess you just have to rely on the good people at MechNav Alpha or whatnot to upload all the stats when it actually comes out.
Yeah, expires
And
May
they still
18th.
haven't.
Yeah.
The other thing to note in the big wall of text at the top is they're saying, all right, here's the quirks of the Dragon and Thunderbolt. We'll also be announcing the new clan booster pack soon. Now, I wasn't aware, I haven't ever actually heard about the new pack or what it would be, but
I didn't
just
hear it either.
it's confirmation at least that, the Inner Sphere will get some token variants for, their most underused mechs, and they won't really be anything to really write home about. But yeah, we'll get some more meta mechs soon. Don't worry. Or maybe we'll get another Black Lana and an Ice Ferret. That would be equal parity, I guess. But the thing is with those are both Omni mechs. So you just strip the Omnipods and put them in. Oh, whatever. We'll see what happens. But
As far as I remember, I think the clan pack is going to also be a pair of clan heavies. At least that's something they've talked about in one of their past devlogs. So we're gonna see soon what that's gonna be.
Probably.
All right. Moving up from the booster packs.
I want to say something. I got the booster. I got the
Okay,
striker pack.
okay.
Let me say something. Yeah, I get the striker pack. I like the Thunderbolt. Basically, like, people don't like it, but it's fun. And I like the Dragon, so it's like, I got both those mechs. I'll have fun with them. Even if I get my ass kicked, it doesn't matter. I still have fun. So that's what I say.
One little thing to mention is these screenshots. I think it actually has the bolt-ons on.
Yeah,
Correct.
it does.
You can
So
see
you can
the
see
little
the
dragon antenna thingy. The
yeah,
arm thingy.
and the bolt-ons sort of merge with the mech, so they
Yeah.
just look more or less the same. But yeah, they do look a little more snazzy than usual.
Yeah. Okay.
At least they don't change the silhouette. I guess that was the main thing they went for with these ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Next up, we've got the giant chunk for the weapon and equipment changes. You guys went over that last episode. Do you have anything to add? Or should we just skip them altogether?
Just very quick, so people don't have to watch the whole last episode. It's just, hey, do you like laser vomit? Point and shoot, instant hit scan. Well, that's getting a whole bunch of help. PPC is getting help, but whatever. There's laser vomit now. Just so, yeah, keep an eye out of the laser vomit. Lots of good stuff for that. Oh, do you like lock-on weapons? Well, you're silly. You're getting some nerfs and stuff. So, we don't know how to balance missiles. Just throw random values at the tables. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting bits and pieces as well. We're sort of picking through if you're interested, but for the most part, just play the game. It's mostly the same. In a few weeks' time, you'll figure out what things, if any, have really become overpowered.
Yeah.
Or if you're like me, just ignore the changes, play what you've always played for the past 6 years, and enjoy the game however you want.
Yeah, true. That's
And then
me.
we're angry because your numbers at the end are slightly worse than they were before.
Don't care about numbers. I don't really care about that stuff. I just like to have fun.
I am trying to think up some silly builds like PPC and large pulse laser both have 3-second cooldown. So you could, if you have the tonnage, put them together and make a kind of kapow close range, close mid range inner sphere laser bomber. You've never seen something like that before, and it will have pretty good DPS. It's just the heat management's going to be tricky and finding all the hard points and everything else. So yeah, there's some interesting builds I want to try out that just make no sense right now. But yeah.
We will certainly talk more about that in the future once we actually have these changes in our hands and can.
Oh yeah, and the biggest change of all, whatever laser vomit's better. There's a whole bunch of other changes, but artillery strike, most commonly used weapon in the game. It won't be nuking people so much anymore. It'll be doing damage over time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And airstrike, slightly longer area for less damage.
Yeah,
Focus.
less mechs being nuked in general,
Fireballs
which is nice.
and
It
flame
helps out the
strikes.
smaller mechs. Yes.
Fireballs and flame strikes. There you go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Alright. In addition to these weapon equipment changes, they're also nerfing some of the mechs that, I don't know, are overperforming. Quick Draw IV4 armor quicks reduced by 25%. I could see that one. The Quick Draw IV4 has been definitely overperforming for forever. Also, Awesome 8Q and Blackjack 3 get a 5% nerf to their PPC heat gen quirk, respectively, which I found interesting. None of those are mechs I've seen, so I guess it has something to do with the PPC changes that are going to come in April patch.
Probably.
Yeah. It wasn't like they were taking over, at least in quick play. I think in comp sometimes they can be very potent for the tonnage you invest, but then again, like with the awesome, it has to expose quite a lot. And whilst I'm not the most ardent follower of comp, I haven't seen the PPC awesome or is it that dominate. Right now, it feels like clan PPC is way stronger, and I have a feeling that will still stay that way. So I don't really care much. I mean, in the end, it's like the PPCs are getting a 5 to 10% heat gen reduction, and the Awesome 8Q is getting 5% of its heat gen reduced. So overall, it will still perform better. I think they're just being a bit conservative and making sure that, okay, we don't want the Awesome 8Q to suddenly dominate the game. And there are more build options with PPCs that you could perhaps throw together. That Awesome 8Q can now throw 4 regular PPCs together or 4 snub noses together all in one volley, and it's cooler to do so. I would have just perhaps left it for the awesome and blackjack. I don't think Particularly, the Blackjack is a funny case. The Blackjack always is kind of a funny case for balance because
So
it's
weird.
it's such a weird
Yeah.
little mech in the sense of 45 tonner wanting to be just a fire support mech, and it has good high mounts to do it. But
Yeah.
of course, your little squishy mech that can't take much return fire. You can't shield with your arms. But if you're given the opportunity with specialized weapon quirks, you can do really good hill humping and be really powerful in the game. As it stands, though, it's a mech which will still have the generic 10% heat, and all it's got for PPCs is just its jump jets and 20% PPC velocity, which is a far cry from what it used to be. And it's just getting even more nerfed into the ground. When I hardly ever see the Blackjack 3 in quick play anymore.
Yeah.
I think people are still kind of cowed by its reputation in the past, where it was half decent, and they're like, "Oh no, it might be half decent again. Let's tone it down."
You know,
Let's make
you're
sure
right.
it isn't.
I've
Might
almost
be
never
fun.
seen the blackjack being played. I mean, for
I've seen plenty
months,
of
man.
blackjacks, but never the 3. I've seen the other
Yeah.
energy one, I believe 1 DC, or how it's called. I've seen the
Yeah.
ballistic ones, I've seen the missile one, I've never seen the blackjack 3.
I've rarely seen any blackjacks being played by people. Rarely,
Hmm.
but that's just me.
Yeah. Blackjack, yeah, I don't see why they're so cautious around PPCs on the Innosphere side. They've always just barely been viable. Like the Blackjack 3 had to be mega quirked for it to be a half decent PPC mech, and even then it was always side by side with like the Vindicator, so to speak. Just in the sense, Vindicator is tanky, lower arms, but the Blackjack very good peaking profile, but squishy. And I like that kind of glass cannoniness. It's kind of what you have with
Hmm.
Clan. And with ISPPCs, you need to be poking a lot to get your damage in. So if Blackjack 3 is getting a lot of work done, then they're exposing themselves a fair amount. They're being quite active in the fight because you're only doing, well, maybe up to like 20 to 30 damage per hit because you can run like 2 heavy PPCs in this thing. You know, put PPCs in the side torsos and jump jet. Yeah, I think in the end, whilst they're trying to help PPCs, we all know who they really love, and that's more going to be the laser vomit mostly. So
Mm-hmm.
remember, point, shoot, hit, scan, much more fairer than projectile-based weapons with minimum range.
Yeah. People are missing the old laser vomit days, apparently. Next up, Tourmaline Desert map spawn point changes. We were promised last page. They're on this page now. Yep, cool. You hopefully will no longer die if you drop an assault mech on Tourmaline.
Yeah,
And that's it.
that's it for patches.
That was so fast. But
was
yeah,
usually
obviously
fast, yeah.
there's a lot of stuff to unpack in the page notes. So if you guys are interested on, especially BrioS' opinion on the whole weapon changes, listen to the last episode of Twist Circuit. And important small note, if you want to give feedback on the weapon changes, not on the forums, but directly to the people who are now responsible for it, I guess, there's a Discord channel in the official Mechwarrior 5/Mechwarrior online Discord where you can post your feedback. Cool.
Yep.
Moving on. Free stuff. I like free stuff. Everyone likes free stuff, especially if free stuff even is something decent. And speaking of decent, April, you can get a free MadCat 2B, which is the ballistic one most commonly seen with WSE10, WSE5. One of the better mechs in the past. And you can earn it all for free. At least for the next 2 weeks.
The only thing I don't like is the last one where you got to use all the trial packs. That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, kill KMVD in the trial mix.
Yeah.
It's not just play one match; it's do quite well in them.
Mhm.
We did go over all the different individual trial mechs. That to start with, the weapon groups kind of suck. A lot of the harder builds don't really work well when you don't have skill tree or consumables available to help bail them out, like
Mhm.
usual.
Yeah.
Still, the thing is, even if you can't sustain as well as a fully skilled mech, even the thing with those big laser vomit builds is you just need to bully one guy in the match and make sure they go down. So with enough time, if you play well,
Bully one guy.
yeah, that's all you need to do.
I never heard
like,
it like that. That's funny.
you
so
get like
either
the
you
Hellbringer. Yeah.
Yeah.
find a ideally find a slow-moving light or a slow-moving medium and just bully him the hell.
Mhm.
Or the other option, just run around the field and try to get the last hit on one of the heavily damaged mechs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a big alpha strike, you at least be able to try and get some, steal some kills. I mean, secure.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Just make sure they can't get away for the next match, right?
And you
Make
don't
sure
really.
their repair costs after the match are higher than.
Mhm.
A few things to mention is just you're only getting the Dazzle pattern for MadCat Mark 2. Dazzle isn't. I don't really like Dazzle. 100 MC is sort of what you're getting really for doing all these trial mechs.
Yeah, but you don't need to do it to get the mech though, which is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say
nice.
just also we had heard that they were going to patch all the errors with the trial mechs. Well, I'll wait to be seen. Like, the commander is missing CT armor. A lot of the builds got terrible omnipod choices for no reason. Armor, like, what is it, 17 on the back of the Grasshopper, 15 or whatever,
Yeah.
something ridiculous. I wonder, we've heard that they were supposed to be changed. I don't see it in the patch notes.
It's true.
Maybe
I
it's next
completely
time.
forgot about those. So PGI probably did as well.
Okay.
Yep.
So get a free mech, play the game. When's it end?
What do you guys think about the actual Earner 3 Mac? Because it's like, most of it is just play the game, do it with multiple different weapons. A lot of ballistic damage.
Yeah, that's
5,000.
a lot of damage. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably some kind of average numbers from the MadCat Mark II, and, well, it's mostly a ballistic mech, so that makes a lot of
Yes.
sense.
Yeah, and otherwise, you just have to earn 250 match score once, which I don't think is too hard.
Yeah. But you got to accumulate it though, so that's not too hard though to get 6,000.
Accumulate
It's gonna
is
take a while, but it's not.
Why'd they
not
go with
bad.
6,543 instead of like 6,500 or something like that?
It's some kind of
why
average.
is missile damage 1251 and then energy damage is 1253? Yeah, it's just energy is 2 more points of damage.
Yeah. I don't know. That's weird.
Like earn 9 victories. Maybe these are the average number people with the MadCat Mark II are earning over 9 games. Who knows?
Yeah.
Something like this.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
maybe.
it's the second meta mech. We had the Grasshopper before, and now we're getting the MadCat Mark 2B. So all these changes to weapons other than Daka, because Daka's doing quite well right now. And then, hey, just take your Daka mech and own all those people who are silly enough to go off the meta.
Yeah.
I wonder what they'll do though when they run out of meta mechs, because at the very, very top, there's only so many variants that are typically taken. Like on IS side, what's the next meta mech? I'm not even really sure that. I mean, maybe a Vulcan, the MPL Vulcan, and then up next after that is the Vapor Eagle, because 3 ATM-12s or 3 ERPPCs. And then I'm not sure where we're going with all the at least quick play meta mechs, the ones that you see every time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Free stuff is always cool. I'm not gonna complain about what kind of free stuff we're getting, as long as it's free stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious, obviously, what the philosophy is, since they'll be giving mechs away for quite some time.
Yeah. So, while you played to get the free MadCat Mark II, you can also get a bunch of MC, C builds, some premium time, just the usual stuff. Play the game and get stuff. And I can only repeat my sentiment regarding these events. I like them a lot, and I'm happy they're here.
I'm happy they're a month instead of like a weekend.
Yeah.
So I could work at it type thing.
Yeah, I've been holding off playing the game until the actual patch just comes in, since I've
Mhm.
already played this version of the game for quite a few years.
Yeah.
And I want to really try out all the different builds and stuff once they actually shake things up. But it's going to be a while to get me all like 100 components destroyed to get enough of Fool's Wolfhorn.
Yeah, true. Okay, so free stuff gets play the game. Okay, what's next? North American servers updated?
Yep, 2 smaller topics that just kind of popped up. Apparently, there were some issues with the Macro Online North American servers. Personally, I haven't noticed them, but yeah, apparently people had connection issues. Anyway, North American servers are on new hardware with extra redundancy, so backend is going to be better. Hopefully, less disconnects for the people who were affected, and
Okay.
more stability, not something you're gonna notice in front end, really.
Just
I
news.
have a few people who this has been a bigger change for. Just they have sort of spotty, unreliable internet, and they sometimes had issues and unWO, like the issues where you'd have several people DC from a match at the start or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that was just down to the servers, and yeah, there's been a lot less issues with high ping or disconnects like that. So some people who have constantly had issues plaguing them on the servers, those have been remediated a bit. So that's really nice for them. For me, it worked. The game works really well for the most part, and it still works really well. But for them, this is a huge change. Like they're bringing it up to my level, which is much nicer, rather than disconnecting one every 10 matches or something crazy.
Yep. So we've had a new server hardware on EU servers due to unfortunate circumstances a couple of weeks ago. Now we're getting NA. We'll see. Maybe they're upgrading Oceanic as well. And yay, cool backend. I like cool tech.
But part of
I wish they would post some pictures.
Part of the identity of Oceanic is just the ridiculous ping and all the issues you have with it. That's where you go for bad matches.
All right, backend hardware. And last but certainly not least, we just wanted to give a quick shout out to the Mechwarrior BullDogs cinematic animation from Renegade HPG, which is a very different art style from the kind of Battletech animations you usually get, but it's really cool, and you should totally check it out. It's only a few minutes, as most animations are, and it's definitely worth the time investment.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, links in the description. Go ahead, check it out, give it a like, share it to your friends. It's
great. Share. Yeah, cool.
And I think that more or less does it. So
Wow.
big changes coming next patch. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of playing in the event for the free stuff and things. Yeah, and the game's more stable. It's being moved forward. It'll be an interesting time going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
I actually can't wait for the patch though. I haven't been playing because of the changes. Like, I'm going to change everything, and then it's going to change again. So, and
I can't wait to bully all the bad builds and all the bad Thunderbolts and Dragons.
there you go. Can't wait to go fight me then, huh? With my bad Thunderbolt.
Yeah, just blow off that left torso and all the weaponry's gone.
Okay, so that was the episode of First Circuit Podcast, episode 144, with our host Ian.
Bye-bye.
And Biter.
Blarg.
And myself. Wow, that's a short one. Old Bob 10025. I'll see you guys later, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
We don't have enough of an opinion to make a long episode. But we'll be back next week, stronger, and better,
faster. We can rebuild them. Okay.